This episode I'm going to talk about forcing high ground, and if you can't really force high ground, just forcing people back and then using the map accordingly. In this game, I'm playing Wraith King against Team Liquid, and I want to show you exactly what I mean by doing that. So right now, first I saw that my guys died on bot lane, both Mars and Rubik, but this doesn't mean that I should lose the pressure on the opposite side of the map. This is what I've been talking in the previous episodes. So by doing that, I knew that somebody is going to keep pushing top, somebody is going to be aggressive, because just we lost two heroes, but I know that the aggression has to keep going, and I'm going to wait for that. You see I'm taking like aggressive spot, and I'm waiting to somebody to punish, and I see a hero on the bot side as well. So what happens is, I wait for this guy, dies, and now already, what I mean by playing aggressive on lanes and waves is like, look, the moment I get this kill here, now I'm nearby an object. That's why it's so important for you to take aggressive spot and for you to be nearby like objectives, because right now I got a kill, means I can force high ground, means I can force people to come back. So even though we lost two heroes on the bot side, what did they get in return? They couldn't get anything because I'm taking this spot right now. So this ladder has to TP top soon. These guys have to start walking back soon because the lanes are just so bad for them. And I'm nearby an object, and I don't mean to stop right now. I'm gonna keep going. So by playing aggressive, as you can see, these guys are gonna start making mistakes. If it's a pub game, if it's a pro game, it doesn't matter. When you're on the aggressive and when you force people, they're gonna make mistakes. It's easier for you to play on this side than just waiting people to come to you. As you can see, Razor walking by, I see him, I straight go to him, no hesitation again, dies, and I want to force him more and more. Even though at minute 20 I lost two heroes, I'm forcing high ground on my own because I feel strong enough and I'm in a good spot to do it. As you can see, and even Catapult, this is just the fortunate timing. And I get triple kill, forcing high ground with Catapult, just the perfect timing. We get tier 3 tower, and that's already really good enough. Now we force 5 heroes in the base, and when we force 5 heroes in base, we get tier 3 tower. All of this, and this, it's all ours, including Rosh. So the whole map is ours just by this simple aggressive move on the top lane. Throughout the whole game, you need to be thinking like, what if I die here? What am I gonna give? For instance, this is the worst possible. Like when you play, you need to think about the worst possible scenario. Let's say they get 5-man smoke, they come to me and they kill me. What can they get if I die? So I want to be, usually when I do my aggressive moves, I want to be as far away as possible from an objective. So even if it goes like so bad and I die and I don't get anything in return, they're not going to get much back. Like they cannot push a tower, they cannot get many lanes pushed. So I'm in a good spot to be aggressive. This is like the main thing that you need to be worried about. And the next thing is you want to be close to their objective. So when you get a kill, you can get a tower, or you can force them back, or like you can force Rosh. You want to be as annoying as possible. So thinking about the next object is always going to be like, you need to start 5 minutes earlier or something. You need to plan your moves, and not always, like in this case, this was the perfect move because it was just like the exact timing, but not every game you're going to find the perfect timing to do it. So in some games, you still need to be planning it, but you can't really execute it at the start. So you need to be patient, you need to wait for your moment, and you're gonna feel it in game when it's the right time. Just don't rush, the time is gonna come and you're gonna feel it. So going high ground usually comes in 2 sets, like 2 main concepts. One is getting an early rush, that's been like the most efficient one lately. Like you plan from laning stage even, you plan when you're gonna get rushed. The moment you get rushed, you wanna force high ground, you wanna use these ages, because usually the first stages is the time where the enemies are not going to be farmed enough, they're going to be kind of weak, and it's so hard to deal with the high ground push, right? The next concept is that you can't really get rush, but you have tower damage, or you don't have tower damage, it doesn't matter, but you need to wait for your key item that allows you to push. So sometimes, it could be Desolator, it could be Manta, it could be Meta on TB. You need to wait for those things, and you need to feel like, are you strong enough? Can you not die? And so on and so on. Usually who makes the call to go high ground is, like if I'm the guy with the aegis or if I'm the guy with tower damage, usually I'm going to make the call. But in some games, let's say my mid guy is playing DP, he needs to be the one forcing the issue, and you sort of just pushing lanes and making it easy for this guy to come high ground. Because let's say you want to wait the call from the mid guy to go and push high ground, right? But it's your job to set up the whole movement to the high ground because you don't want the lanes to be in a bad shape. So let's say you have DP in your team, and you know that you want to go high ground, but you need to make sure that the lanes are pushed correctly for her to go high ground. This is your job. So when you feel like you can't really stop like the enemy team from spreading the map and from them getting what they want, for example, they want to farm Ancients, they're pressuring your tier 2, and you're all 4 or 5 stuck on the top side, you want to force people back, and you don't want them to keep farming and farming, because you can't really catch them on so spread map. You know, the map is wild, the map is big, you can't really catch all these heroes, but what you can do is, you force high ground, you force 5 people to TP, then all of a sudden the whole map is yours. So that's the only purpose why I want to do it. And in some rare games, you know, if you're playing against like a bit more like not coordinated team, they're gonna TP one by one in the wrong spots, and you can punish that even. When you're going high ground, you have to be really confident, because usually if you start hesitating and you start asking questions and you start asking yourself, is this really a good idea? Then most of the times it's not a good idea, but what you can do is you just force them back and you go back, and you don't need to commit to anything, because by forcing 1 or 2 heroes back, you still did a good job, and you don't need to go and suicide basically. And this thing is also relevant when it comes to pushing towers, when it comes to forcing Rosh. It could even be like if you want to go to the enemy Ancients, the same concept applies always. So in this game, I'm playing a Phantom Lancer against Flight to Moon again, and I'm going to show you how, like with aggressive position, I'm going to force people back, and I'm going to open plays for my teammates to come and finish the game. My Shaker, he's going to get caught, he dies mid, but despite him dying, I'm still in an aggressive position. I have Aegis again, and I want to force them to come back, because I feel like right now they pushed mid wave, and I saw Templar pushing top, and I saw that she wants to buy a Rapier, so I don't want her to like completely free farm top, finish Rapier and so on. So I want to force them back, and by forcing them back, this means that my guys are gonna have more plays, and we're gonna close them up, and this is not gonna be theirs. This is the only reason why I want to force high ground right now, even though my Shaker just died. And I'm alone. I don't even have backup. It's just I know that it's so important for me to force them back. And I have Aegis, so this makes it easier to do. And again, I forgot to mention again, I know that the main catch they have for me is a lasso, and they just use lasso mid, so I'm sort of immortal almost. Now I force them back. I'm gonna force TA back soon, because I'm not showing anywhere. Again, this bait I was talking about, I force everyone back. Now I showed on the opposite side of the map, and they feel like they're strong. They're gonna walk out, but that's not true, because I'm just leaving Illus and I'm walking back straight to my team. This is like, often this bait is gonna work, you know, unless your team dies too quickly, but you're gonna make sure this doesn't happen. I smoked back in even, I forgot about it. But now you see, just because earlier I forced them away from top, there is no pressure on the map. You see, top lane, there is no pressure for me. Mid lane, no pressure. Bot lane, no pressure. So where can they be? They don't have anywhere to be. Like, they have to be stuck in base. In this case, we even have an ops. But this is why you want to force them back. Because right now, if you haven't forced them back, this guy would still be pushing top. He would be hitting your tier 3 tower with a Rapier, and it would be so much more annoying to go high ground. But when you force everybody in base, you know that there is no pressure. You can take your time, look for a fight, and it's so much more easier. What happens is, I found these 2 heroes, kill them, game over. They were in base waiting for us, not applying pressure, and that's so wrong, and game is over. So the most important thing about forcing high ground is that first you need to know your limits, and second, like, it's good if you have edges, but if you don't have edges, this doesn't mean that you should be scared. But what's so important about it is that you need to be playing on aggressive positions before you go high ground, and you don't want to just rush in. Like, there is no place for hesitation as well. If you feel like something is wrong about it, it's better to just abandon the mission, wait for it, wait for the right moment, and it's gonna come like almost natural. Yeah, most common mistakes that people usually do is, like, for example, they take edges and they don't use the edges to go high ground, but they just farm and farm and farm, and this is like, you're wasting the whole potential of getting an axe to just get a few creeps. And another thing that people make mistakes often is that even though they get edges, the lanes are in a really bad spot, and they just want to go high ground, and they end up dying, they end up even losing racks, and you don't want to rush too quickly. You know, it's still, when you're pushing high ground, you want to take a look at the lanes. You know, if they're in a really bad shape, you have to go back, push them, and then go back again. If they're not in such a bad shape, then you can force them to go back, but you shouldn't rush to do it. So forcing high ground again, like most of the things in Dota, like getting kills in Dota, it comes a lot from lanes. So this doesn't mean you get Aegis and you want to go suicide. It means that this Aegis gives you like the confidence and the time to look at lanes. Again, you need to push lanes correctly before you go high ground, and you need to be patient about it. You have like so much time to see your next move, and you don't need to rush it, because this is your biggest advantage. On the opposite side, how you want to defend high ground is like in some games you're not gonna be strong enough to defend high ground as a carry, or let's say you wanna buy a Abysso, you wanna buy a BKB, whatever item you're looking for, and you feel like when you get this item, the game is gonna change, so you shouldn't rush into defending the racks. In some games, it's good to leave the racks, let it die, get your next item, then defend the second one, because if you go back and you die, the game is over. But if you get your next item, then defend the second racks, there is a good chance that you're gonna make a comeback and the game is gonna be still fine even with you losing one racks. Another way of viewing object could be item builds as well. So for example, for Morphling getting a Morbid Mask, it could mean automatically rush in the first, even in the first small kill that you get could result into getting a rush. And for Lifestealer, or it doesn't matter what hero, let's say it's a TA, could be Desolator, so Desolator is your object. It means you get Deso, that's a free rush, or at least it's gonna be like the pressure, you apply this pressure on the enemies by getting this item, because they know you're gonna be rush, and they're gonna be constantly thinking, are they going rush or not, and they're gonna be playing automatically nearby rush and not playing efficient enough, so you can view items as objects as well. So Doro is like a puzzle that you wanna like win, and every piece, you know, every object, every small object that you have is like the missing part in this puzzle. And if you do everything correct, even though like it doesn't sound so simple, it's quite simple, you're gonna win every game. So in this episode, I'm gonna talk about late game and what decisions you need to be doing, and how even if you make bad decision, it shouldn't affect you. So the most important things when you want to make a decision late game is like, first thing it comes is who gets the jump first. So oftentimes you're gonna have to be even the guy going first, and oftentimes you're gonna make mistake, you're gonna miss a chrono, you're just gonna make a bad jump, you're gonna end up dying. But this thing should only motivate you, because in my career so far I've made so many wrong calls, like I died so many times and I ruined so many games. But this is the only way you can learn what's your limit, and this is the only way you can learn like how to play late game well, because it's not gonna happen just like that or just by looking at what I'm doing right now. It's gonna happen by you trying these things and pushing yourself and pushing the limits and dying and losing games. Then all of a sudden you're gonna feel like that's how it is, that's how it needs to be done. So in this game I'm playing Faceless Void in TI9 against Team Secret, and I'm gonna show you exactly what I'm talking about. No hesitation. Even if you make a mistake, who knows, maybe it's gonna turn into something good, and let's watch. So right now, I'm waiting my Chronosphere. We don't have buybacks on anyone, so we're 3v5. And I know that if I get the jump, just kill somebody, it's gonna be a good start of the fight. And I wanna kill PA, firstly, like, cause this guy doesn't die outside the Chrono, or at least it's gonna be really hard, and he wants to kill my Lina. I'm just using the jump. I even give away the Chrono. He steals the Chrono. It's not really ideal jump because I only get one in the Chrono. But like I said, again, no hesitation, and you shouldn't worry about this. Just do it, that's it. We're gonna keep watching. Just by that, you see all of a sudden, my bad play turned into something worse for them even. And as we can see, these two guys jumped in the Chrono, they made a mistake, and this is gonna turn the game. So as you can see, by me not hesitating to jump, we created this opportunity to win a high pressure game. Just keep watching. Like you see, I don't care if I die, I don't care if we lose, just play the game, don't think about it. In a way, playing late game is a bit like you should turn off your emotions, turn off your brain even a little bit, and just let your reactions and your feelings play, like your inner feeling, how you want to fight. Just let it come out, and even if you lose, at least you're gonna learn how to do it the next time. We're gonna go rush, so we don't take any chances of losing, because we know these guys don't have buybacks, and we have plenty of time to go for throne. Pushing free, just going for throne straight away, ignoring everything else. And just gonna pop BKB, use Chrono on the throne, so they're gonna stop him from hitting it. Game over. So this game is a win, just because I didn't hesitate. If I did, we probably would have lost. Not probably, but for sure we would have lost. I want to talk a little bit about buybacks right now, because how you're going to win games, it's not going to be by you just pushing racks and then going for throws straight away. Oftentimes, you're going to have to force a buyback. You're going to have to chill for a few minutes. Then, like after you force this buyback, this guy is going to be your target in almost every fight. You want to get him out, and that's how you finish games. And as well with most of the heroes, like for example, if it's a Storm or if it's a Spectre especially, what you want to do is you want to walk in, you want to bait every single spell, you want them to use BKBs, that's when you buy back, you go back in, and the game is going to be over. So in some games, you're going to end up in a situation where, for example, you're playing against a Butterfly and you want to buy a Rapier or an MKB, but if you do that, you're not going to have a buyback, and you're going to ask yourself the question, should I buy my item or should I leave buyback? So what I would suggest to do is that you try and buy the item and try to go for like the win, because a lot of the times you're going to end up not buying your item, you're going to learn like you're going to be short of damage, and then it's going to result into something like probably an instant loss, to be honest. Because if you don't get this item, like even like in my last few games, I don't buy the item and we have no damage to kill anyone, and it's just not worth it. And in some games where you force buybacks, for example, you force enemies to buyback at any cost, like you want to farm your buyback before you're going to fighting, because automatically this gives you the edge that if you kill this guy in the next fight and all of you even buyback, you guys are going to win the game. So if someone uses a buyback, you don't want to buy the item like on the next 5 to 10 minutes, you want to save buyback and you want to use this to your advantage. So in the moments that I was talking about that you buy yourself the item and not save buyback, when you do that, you don't want to just sit in your jungle and you don't want to get caught. What you want to do is you want to wait them in your base and prepare for the next fight, because what you want is you want to start a proper fight and you want to be ready when they hit high ground, not too late. You're just waiting and farming and like wasting time to do that. In the games where you play against Doom, Enigma, Mag, and all these huge teamfight spells, what you want to do is you want to save a buyback at like for sure, because let's say they use the Doom and you die, there is a big chance that if you buy back and you go back in, he's not going to have Doom and game is going to be over just by you forcing the Doom and them using their BKBs. So against big spells and huge team fights, you need to save a buyback because this is your win condition. Same thing against Void. If Void uses Chrono on you on the push, he uses BKB, then you buy back, he's going to be almost finished if you come back again and you push. When it comes to late game, you shouldn't waste your TP to come back to and defend the lane. What you want to do is you need to creep skip almost constantly, because if you TP back, it means your whole team needs to follow you. And if you guys are having a good position, by you TPing, you lose the good position, and you should just creep skip and like wait the creeps to stop coming, because yeah, that's what I mean. Late game focus, like when it comes to you choosing who you want to jump, you need to see what's the guy who can kill you and what's their initiate. So for example, if Enigma is their only jump, or if like Storm or a Hex, this has to be your main focus, and you need to use everything, or just poke their carry to see where Enigma is, or poke their carry to see where Storm is, and you need to jump on these guys, and you need to commit to these guys and not the guy who's sitting first. How can you know when you should go for mega creeps, and how can you know when you should push a throne is, usually when you force these big spells that we've been talking about and you force their BKBs, there is a good chance in almost every game that you want to go for a throne. But in some games, you know, it's going to be hard for you to jump, and let's say you're playing a Red King, you're going to have a second life, or you're going to have edges, or you're going to have a buyback and they don't have one. So what you want to do is you want to go for megas, but nobody else shows. You're the only guy pushes, and you want them to expand, you know, the Doom or the spell or whatever it's going to be. You want them to use spells on you, you buy back, you come get it, and then you go for a throne, basically. In most of the situations, you want to avoid playing late game, because in late game, things are way more chaotic and the structure is way different. There is almost no structure, and it's about, like I said, who gets the jump first, who's going to get the Doom first. And you know, these things are all about positioning, and like not always you're going to have the best position, where when it comes to early to mid game, it's all about like proper structure, proper team fights, fighting on ops, getting ages, and everything has a structure. So if you can, actually not if you can, most of the times you want to avoid playing late game. By me saying that you don't want to play late game, this doesn't mean that you should go rush suicide and like lose the game by pushing high ground. But in some games you're going to be playing against like extreme high ground defense, like Techies, Storm level 25, Enigmas, Dooms, and you know, you can't break the high ground. So in those moments, the best thing you can do is be patient, just keep pushing lanes, keep waiting for the chance, and it's going to come. And honestly, late game is all about patience and who's going to get the jump. In this episode, I'm gonna be analyzing a Divine One player, and I'm gonna show you what he does wrong. So the laning stage starts. Already I'm gonna see that if I was him, he needs to know that in this lane, it's gonna be hard to use Essence Shift because he's got a support sniper. So all he needs to do is just not let the lane come too fast to him. And they need to block this. Don't let it stack. By raindrops, let's see, keeps fighting. So far the lane is fine. Now here, he needs to buy, like, in this lane, the band doesn't give you much because these guys are just spamming spells, right? He got Shockwave, they have Pugna the Crap with Blast. So what he needs to buy right now is a salve and a stick. So like the most important thing right now is to just sustain the lane until I get to level 6. And he needs Dark Pact at level 5 to be like 3 points. So he can just start jungling. But what happens right now is he's buying a band, he doesn't have regen, and he has like 300 unused gold, which needs to be used. The courier needs to come already. The lane is in a not bad spot though. So this is the first mistake, like getting double in Essence Shift. There is no way you can hit on this lane. Like you get a Pugna with spells, Mag with spells, they're not really gonna fight you, they're just gonna spam your like face all the time. So you wanna get the Dark Pact as much as you can, and probably even clear this stack right now. If you had 2 in Dark Pact, you don't even need Essence Shift to be honest. You see, he jumped, but he doesn't hit anyone. So basically, like Dark Pact is just a game-winning thing, and we need a salve, we need raindrops already to start coming by, because all we need to do is just sustain until level 6. The moment I get to level 6, what do these guys do to me? Like they're gonna be worthless. They're not gonna do anything to you. The moment you get to level 6, raindrops, this lane is useless, and you're gonna have a free lane. That's what I was talking. These things, you need to look before the creep starts even. You see Pugna Mag, you kind of need to know what skill build you're gonna buy, what items you're gonna buy, and how you're gonna like treat the lane basically. I wanna see the first catapult, then we're gonna fast forward a little bit. See, this was like not a good pull. Because when it's catapult time, you wanna just make sure that this guy doesn't stay alive. Because right now, like, they can even get a double wave if they protected this boy, but they didn't do it, so it's fine. No raindrops still. Keep forward. They kill the catapult. This is really good. You want to get 6 and go jungle basically in this lane. From here, like you don't have enough regen to fight this, right? So you want to make sure that you just, like when you're close to level 6, you don't want to die at any cost. Because you know that the moment you get 6, this lane is over, right? Like what can they do when you get 6? And you see the lane is coming to you. These guys don't have the catapult, which was a good job at killing. Now all you need to do is, if this guy dies, it's fine. Just wait on the tower, wait the level 6, then you're free to do whatever you want. Instead, you guys are fighting right before you're 6. I'm sure you will be 6 if you just kill the creeps. Get over from the creeps and just get 6. Chill about it. Instead, you fight right on the good timing. This guy gets 6, and you die. Now imagine if you were level 6, just waiting, how easy it would be. They even ran out of regen. You see that? You click on them, this guy doesn't have regen, this guy doesn't have regen. Again, just play on the regen war. You don't want to fight this at all. Like right now, what you're doing is just a waste of time. Because the Q on this guy, what's the Q on this guy? There is no Q potential here, right? With the crep, I'm sure you guys don't kill him at all. So what you need to do is you want to focus on making a comeback. Because right now, you're a bit in low net worth. So what you want to do is, you want to push the lane and go farm jungle, right? You want to push the lane, get raindrops maybe to just sustain a little bit and go jungle, and you want to max the Dark Pact instead of fighting, because you just died, you came back and you want to fight again, it's not going to work, especially against Pugna. And he's dead. Goes to jungle, that's fine. Neutral items are coming. It's really hard to defend this right now, because these guys are level ahead of you with Pugna. Slark doesn't really farm Ancients that quick, right? So at best what you want to do is, you want to be near this, like you want to be farming this camp, this camp, this camp, and just waiting the lane to come forward, you kill it, and that's when you go away. Like, because for Slark right now, it's kind of hard to farm Ancients, right? You didn't even farm them, you just keep them. So basically what you got is, you got one smoke camp, which is like 50 gold, and you got 80 gold from this one, and you're stuck right now. Like, you don't want to be here, basically. But if you were here, then just farm this, farm this, farm this, and you wait the camp, the tower to come here, the creeps to come here, you clear them, and you start moving away until you hit your power spike. Your power spike in this game is Echo Saber, again, like to allow you to just fight. Instead, you come here, Sand King, doesn't really know where to go, because this is where he wanted to be. Like, he's also like having a decent game. That's what I meant. And you don't want to take away the lane from him, because it's hard for you to fight Sven, right? If, let's say, the Sven was low level and you're equal levels, you can come here and fight Abaddon and Sven, because they can't really touch you. But if this guy is like 3 levels ahead of you, it's gonna be like not easy to do. Now that was good. That was good. You guys forced so many rotations. You see, 5 heroes. You don't have ulti. You should just TP away from bot to bot, and try to force them to be back on this side of the map. Right now, you did a really good job. You forced these guys to be here. That's nice. He's doing it. Creep skip. Let's see. It's 1 wave. 2nd wave. So here, what you could have done is, what you want to play here is you want to force them to come here, right? This rune, it's nice to get it, but you want to force them to come back to this side. You want to force this tower. You want to pressure the tower. You don't want to just get a bounty and come and get like a few. You got what? How much this is? Like 20 gold. You want to come here, pressure the tower, and try to force somebody to be on this side of the map, so you guys can get an advantage fight on this side. Because you see these guys are 4-manning, 5-manning, and you're getting this creep. It doesn't help you to force somebody. You see? These creeps, the lane creeps first, then you go jungle. You need to make pressure, then you jungle. This is how it is. This way you actually reduce your rubbish time a lot as well. You see, that's good. You force the guy, now you can force top tower. You force so many people to be bot. You even have obs, you saw them on the obs. Just TP, force this Carapult, it's still up even, and force this tower. Because right now, you're kind of playing the catch-up game, right? You can't really main fight anyone. You want to play cat and mouse. So what you did was good. You should have done it earlier though, but still forcing this guy to TP is good. Now you need to go top. Perfect. You need to buy clarities, use the courier, because you don't have resources to fight. That's it, get the tower. Still, you need to call clarities. When you run out of like mana or HP, you have to do that. It's good, you force this guy to be here. See, playing on lanes got your kill. Just because you guys are pushing the lanes, this is getting you a kill right now. You didn't just back off into jungling, you went to, okay, maybe it's fine. You just go back now. Yeah. See from here, that was a good attempt. You guys killed him. But you must know that the moment you go for a kill like that, it takes so long, it's already over. Like you did perfect. You forced probably 2 or 3 TPs, even without looking, because you know they're not just gonna leave him to die. That was really good. And you keep playing the catch and mouse. Like you can go bot right now. With what you did, you guys can smoke. You're a Pugna kill bot. This was really good though, forcing like rotations. But it was just overcommitment a little bit. Because you can do that if you're strong enough. But right now, you're still in the catch-up game. You're still like 6k gold behind Sven. You cannot afford to like, die for kills. And in this game, if you look at it, what kills you, basically? Like you need to survive in order to deal damage. Because if you get MKB, I'm not sure, like you can't really kill this guy anyway. So you want to be like the guy who sits in front and who doesn't die. If you look at it, you have Radiance. This guy's not gonna tank up for like a lot. Sand King wants somebody to go first. So when somebody goes first, he can get an epicenter. And you know, Zeus and Sniper are not even gonna comment on them. So you wanna be like, you wanna build a tanky pool. Like you wanna buy Halberd against maybe Sven, against Morph. Halberd is still gonna be fine. Or SNY is still okay, if you wanna go for it. But you need to be in front and you need to tank a few spells if you want to win the fights. Because you don't have anyone to do it for you. The mid lane usually is not like a carry's job, because mid lane, you need to remember one thing, on mid lane, a fight is always gonna happen. In pubs, in competitive, everyone wants to force a mid fight. So how you wanna do, like right now you wanna split push, right? You're playing a hero that doesn't really die easy, you wanna be ideally in spots like here. Like you wanna be on annoying positions, like you can even just run to here, you can even buy a smoke if the situation is really desperate. You buy a smoke, you place yourself around this spot, and you start creep skipping, forcing TPs. Because what's the catch? What catch do they have? It's mag with RP. That's the only thing that kills you right now. Nothing else can kill you from like Shadow Dance TPing, right? So you need to abuse that a little bit. And by coming mid, you don't have many options where to go right now. Other than like you can just die. You should leave this to Zeus, try to get the mid, and be on this side. Try to be behind tier 2s, tier 3s, cutting waves, being annoying to the enemies. This is even if you die, it's the only way you can make a comeback in a really bad game like this one. You just found an item that can salvage your game. You shouldn't really toss this away. This is like one of the best items that a carry can get, right? Because you don't want to be BKB, and like what kills you? Again, it kills you E-Blade, Pugna, mostly like magic damage. You don't want to throw away 25% like magic resist. This is kind of worthless. Yeah, you should have kept this item. And again, you see, right now, what you need to be doing is you need to create pressure on the map. There is no way you can take these guys 5v5, right? There is no way. Even if you guys use 10 buybacks, you can never win the fight. So what you need to be doing is you need to cut waves. Play here. Play in aggressive spots so they TP back and they force like 1, 2, 3 TPs. In this way, you can get something out of the map. But right now, going into a fight looks pretty hard. And you're not farming, you're not fighting. You see how much time you're wasting? And all of this thing, you could be around here, cutting wave, or around here, cutting waves, cutting wave, trying to pressure tier 1. Like, you have so many options. You see 1, 2, 3. It's like an anti-match, because they have no catch. They don't have any Lion, or a Rasta, or a Disruptor who's gonna instantly kill you. You can abuse that. You should abuse that. Instead, you come mid and you wanna take a lost fight. It's a good kill, but this guy shouldn't have died. That's good, that's good. Yeah. And bam, you get 2 kills, even though you guys were losing 15k. Now imagine if you creep skip, these mistakes are still gonna come. It's just you're gonna be way more farmed than 7.4k net Slark. That's good. You see? Finally, you push 2 waves, 2 TPs. Literally, you push 2 waves and 2 TPs came. This is so much info now for this guy to push, this guy to farm, and you guys are in a good spot. No, you see? That's the wrong thing. You force 2 TPs on this lane, right? Why do you want to stay on this lane? There is no reason for you to be on this side of the map anymore. What you did was perfect, so now just move. Keep moving. You guys are still not strong enough. You don't have a BKB, you don't have SNY, you don't have Hubbard, nothing to make you leave, right? So you shouldn't stay anymore. What you did was good, but sitting more is like, it makes no sense. You're just gonna die. 5 heroes. Now imagine you were here. So after you force TPs, there is no reason for you to be here, because what you can do is you're gonna force more guys to be here. Like, you need to play cat and mouse until you feel strong enough, but right now you're far from strong, right? That's what gets you killed. Or maybe you don't die. Okay, you die. Again, like you have to like constantly push lanes and abuse lanes, because right now you guys knew they're rushing. Like, you saw it, and you want to farm this camp, but the thing is, you need to get more out of this map. What I was talking about is that the moment here you kind of guys knew that they're going rush. Like, they push the wave, there is nobody. Like, you don't want to be stuck here getting 50 gold. You want to force people to move away. You want to be like getting this tier 1. This tier 1 should have fallen like 15 minutes ago. You have to be here getting this, pushing the lane, getting the tower. After you get the tower, you can walk to the Ancients. When you walk to Ancients, you can kind of creep skip what I was like gonna say like in other episodes. You come here, you creep skip this, walk back, force guys to TP. And that's when you can maybe find some fight where you have advantage. This is your only way of like playing in a really bad game. You're not applying the pressure you need to be applying. This way, Zeus can push it, for instance. But now you're nearby the fight. You're nearby them, but you don't want to be there. And the thing is, what stops right now these guys to just walk down mid and push? There is no pressure, right? But if you're pushing this tower, or you're pushing these towers, they're not going to just rush down and push, because they're going to lose. Maybe you can even get back like a counter tier 3 tower or something. They don't want to do that. So they're going to TP and defend this, and you're going to buy more time for the team to come online. Instead, this is like so defensive. And you don't have TP, you're not ready to this, and this has to be pushed. Has to apply some sort of pressure. Instead, you die. Waiting for something here. And you guys are still killing them. You see, these guys are still throwing. I mean, there is like, honestly, it's not really your fault, but you see how many things you can do. Yeah. I mean, I see this guy, you know.
I see that guy.
Yeah, I see it. But the thing is, the thing is, when this happens, it's none of your business. You know, you have to play good, and this guy, just fuck this guy. Also, another thing I haven't seen, you didn't really carry sentries much this game. Because, you know, right now, the situation with sentries is you invest 75 gold into getting 200, right? And getting XP and rewarding, and it's just such a good investment. Like, I didn't really see you do that. Like, what you can do is, after you farm the camps, you need to walk around, like, as deep as you can, and try and find the orbs. Because this is gonna give you so much return. It's a nice kill. Again, mid lane forcing a kill is good. Here, what you need to do right now, you just wait around this space, around this triangle, and wait the creep to come, and creep skip it. This way, these guys are gonna be stuck. Like, you kill the creep wave, and you can even TP away, or just wait a little longer and see if nobody's reacting. You can stay more, right? Instead, don't just like rush into a fight, or like you don't have BKB, you're not strong enough. You need to wait your strong timing. And this wave, you see it? Needs to die. Instead, they saw you, now they're just running at you. Now you need to realize, you guys obviously don't like so much damage, right? But you like a guy who's gonna sit in front. Like right now, you need a BKB to sustain all of their damage. They have V-Blades, Pugnas, it's so much right now. It's too much for you to deal with. You see, right now, what happens is, you guys kill the guy, and you force Sven to TP, and you saw two of your guys are away. Like, this guy is really important for your team fight right now. You guys cannot win this fight anymore against a DD Sven. There is no way. Even if you kill him, you all die. Because you guys have to push the lane side now. This is free, everything is free. Instead, you go for this. It's not even, I mean, it's kind of close. Yeah. Like, you needed your guys. You guys are still losing the game. Now imagine though, like, you can abuse the split pushing power, and you buy a few sentries. You're gonna find these orbs. There was a third one that expired right now. But you need to take a bit more aggressive positions on the map. This is way too defensive, and it's so hard to find kills. Again, like, the way you force kills, and like the easiest way to force kills or to force fights is by pushing waves. Because if you push a wave, like I is gonna show, you're gonna see it clear what you wanna do. Maybe like on the other side of the map, somebody's gonna be pushing too deep, it's gonna be overextending, it's way easier. But right now, you don't see anyone. This lane is super pushed to your face. This lane is not pushed really. And there is no mid wave, so it's so hard to go into fighting right now. You need to play with lanes and with vision. Then again, this, no pressure, this, no pressure. And they got edges, no return, nothing in return. See, this TP is a TP that I don't like. Like, sure, you guys forced a Sven top, but do you see an opening? Because I don't see any opening yet. And you don't have, like, you're waiting for a third item. You need to wait and push this lane way more. Like, you shouldn't just, see this guy? TPs, kills the catapult. There is a one wave coming. Free wave, premature TP. Now a second wave is gonna come. There it is. Two waves that you need to clear before you wanna make a play, right? Because if you clear waves, you kill the waves, the game is so much simpler. Like, these guys are not gonna be like, they're gonna feel pressured that this tower is gonna start getting some hits, right? But right now, no pressure, no pressure. This guy comes, this is pushed. There is no pressure to the enemies, anywhere. Like, they have 3 lanes pushed in your face, guys. There is no way, like, you can make a good play when all 3 lanes are pushed in your face. It's like gonna be based on a luck almost. And you see, you're not even like accomplishing anything. You're just staying in base. And this thing keeps like that. This, no pressure, no efficiency as well. Okay, what I want you to do is like the next time you guys get a few kills and everything is going good, you need to make sure that every single lane gets deeply pushed. So you can decide, in this case again, what lane do you want to skip? Is it top or is it bot? I'm fine with either. But right now you feel like it's not that easy to get high ground still. Like, Pugna is going to spam, Mag is alive, Morph is alive. They probably have buybacks because they've been winning a lot, so it's not that easy to force high ground. But what you can do is you can force all the lanes to be in their base. So the moment they respawn, you guys are going to be in good spots. You're going to wait them to walk to high grounds. You're going to wait them to come out. And that's when you can find like another kill or another good like opportunity. But these lanes, they really need to be pushed because this is preventing you from getting good openings. And bam, You guys are forced to TP. Okay, maybe you find the kill. It was really nice. That was really nice. But this is the first time that you guys actually tried to punish a side kill without overextending. I mean, now, you guys. Now this is the time where you want to force a kill straight away. You want to chain feed them. The moment this guy dies and this guy bought back, you have to just run at them. Don't like force them in the base. You need to chain feed these guys. These guys died. This guy just bought back. They can even lose the game right now. With Abysso, you have to be here. Mid-fight even. These guys can feed right here. Instead, everyone is like in so chill position. No, again, no pushing lanes, just chilling. If it was me, I would go for a kill. But if you don't want to go for a kill, if you feel like you're too stressed, I mean, you have buyback, but like the optimal thing for me would be to go for this mid-fight right now, because Mac bought back. He didn't have RP. We saw it here. He missed it. And if he dies back, and you force a buyback on Morph, game could like very well be over, right? But let's say you feel stressed and you feel scared about it. You can just push these lanes, push them until here, push this one, and it's still okay-ish, and you guys control Rosh. This would still be okay. But this right here is like, it's just a waste of time. You see that? It's like as if you guys are like, again, you came to the lane, you don't want to push this lane. You came to this creep, like this is what, it's like almost 300 gold. We decide to hit 2 creeps and go back to jungle. This guy is dead. This guy bought back. This, what? It's not easy. The thing is, it's not easy to find kills if the lanes are like that. It's not easy. It was really good. You see, this is what I'm talking about. It could have happened even earlier. Dive back on Mag. Now, let's see what we're going to do. So how do you want to fight this? Like, if you're a Slark right now, you want Sven to use his BKB. That's when you can maybe take on a main fight, or the best thing for me that could happen right now is you guys force Sven ulti, and you take the Rosh with the Aegis, Mag dead, like Magnus is dead. How can they contest Rosh? When is it coming? I can't see. Anyway, right here, the best play is to get Aegis. Because when this happens, when a guy dies back, you guys are still not 100% sure that you can push this without dying, right? Because there's still like Morph and Sven are pretty like strong. You don't have BKB, you have a lot of gold unused. Kunga has Rapier, like you don't want to risk that. So getting a Rosh, Cheese, and probably like the third item, Refresher Eggs, is the best way to play it. Because the moment you get it, the chances of you losing the game are so low. But right now, you get a chance of losing, and probably this is what's going to happen. One dead. 3 dead. Rosh up. It could have been your Rosh. Mag dead for a minute still. They force you buyback. But you can't really contest Rosh on your own. Maybe they're not going to go for it. Let's see. Yep. There is it. This should have been yours. Aegis, Cheese, Refresher. Game over. Instead they get it, just walk down mid. When I look at it now, it should have been a win. The conclusion is that you need to carry sentries when you play Slark, because you want to take zones and you want to devour everything, and it's just a good investment. The next thing is your item build. You need to know what's your power spike and like what do you need. Do you need to be in the middle of the fight? Do you need to bait spells? Because you have to be way tankier in these games. And like obviously creep skipping, but not only creep skipping, more likely playing with waves. Because when you play with waves, opportunities come. When you don't play with waves, nothing comes. It's so hard for you to find anything on the map. My mentality as well as the mentality that I try to teach you guys in these courses is that no matter what happens, you're going to get so many bad players, bad supports, bad mid guys. The most important thing is that you take responsibilities for your actions, because we accept, and I believe that you're going to accept, you're going to know more than the guys in your team. So if you blame them, it's going to slow you down and it's not going to help you at all. So by applying this mentality, let's say you're going to be losing 10 games. So out of 10 games, you're going to win 2. And with those 2 games, they're going to make the difference at the end of the day, and you shouldn't give up on any game. If you keep doing the small things, if you keep applying them, for example, keep creep skipping, keep farming the ancients in the right moments, keep applying pressure before you're going to jungling, eventually you're gonna become from top 6 network to top 1 in no time. So how I became like the player I am right now is not just by playing mindlessly game after game after game, but also by theory crafting, like copying even other players. What I used to do is I used to copy professional players, copy their builds until I realized what they're doing and until I started like understanding what exactly is happening. One thing to remember as well is that you're gonna lose so many games, and I lost so many games, and this is the only way you can improve. It's really important to also keep checking statistics, like keep watching DotaBuff, keep checking what's happening, how people are expanding their items even, what items are trending right now, and all these small details, they're gonna make you a much better player. Important advice I can give you is that you need to keep watching all of your replays, because not only you want to see what you did wrong, but you also want to see what you did right, because if you don't know what you did right, you're never going to repeat it. Well, for me, another important advice I can give you is that despite all the Dota advices I gave you, for me you need to find a balance between playing and also relaxing, because if you don't relax and you keep playing, like when you're on a bad streak or something, you need to take a little bit of time off, because this is only going to make you worse. When you're gonna go pro, again, it's going to put a lot of pressure on you usually. It's going to be stressful, and if you don't take any time off, eventually your head is going to explode. Another good advice I can give you is that you shouldn't waste your energy on other toxic players in your pubs. You should just mute them, and the only thing that matters is how you perform and how you deal with those people, and nothing else matters, because at the end of the day, this is your career and it's not theirs. And it's your MMR as well. Once again, I want to thank you for watching this course, and I do believe that it's going to be useful for you, and I do believe that if you keep trying hard and you keep applying those things, it's going to be nice for you. And if you got any questions, you can contact us in Gamers Class Discord, and you can follow me on my Twitter, Nicodora, and thank you again. You know, the best defense is the aggression. And I feel like if you're on the aggressive move all the time, enemies oftentimes don't have time to react. So for me, playing aggressive is the best way of playing Dota, because you just give yourself so much more time and the game feels so much easier. Important thing to remember is that even though you're gonna get the worst games, the worst laning stages, you shouldn't stop believing in yourself, and eventually your time is gonna come and you're gonna make a comeback. So this is something that you need to keep in mind always.